What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fu Show. I'm your host, Coach Ali Fusho. Um, if you guys are watching this or if you guys are listening to this podcast through Spotify, you have no idea where I am right now. And let me try to paint a picture. So, for those who are watching this through YouTube, you can see it's kind of weird or it's kind of different from the past few weeks. So, I'm here right now in I think the name of this park is actually I have no idea what the name of this park is. It's just somewhere here in Japan and here in Tokyo. I am here on this inclined structure. Not sure if it's art or something, but I'm sitting here right now, and I know I can sit here because I know a lot of people have sat here before, like during the weekends. Like kids go up and down the slide here. But yeah, it's a really nice park. It's really sunny. The reason why I'm here is because all the other benches or the bench that I go to is currently occupied by a family, multiple families. I thought that filming this on a Monday morning would be a lot easier, but I guess I was wrong. I plan to do it as to those of you who do follow the podcast. I try to really upload every Sunday, and I try to record every Saturday or Sunday so I can upload it during that weekend as well. But last weekend was a really busy weekend. Not necessarily for me, but for filming locations. So everyone's really busy, and I just figured that okay, you know what? It's already Monday. I'm already a day late. I, no matter what location I end up in, even though if the sun's directly at me, I got to film for you guys, right? Anyway, so this is episode 16, if I'm not mistaken. The topic for this episode is going to be about how to actually warm up, or like maybe for a more clickbaity way, the perfect way to warm up. Sorry, let me say that again. The topic of this video is going to be the perfect way on how to warm up for your workouts. Very straightforward, but as you will see throughout this episode, there are a lot of discussion points. There's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to warming up. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions. And a lot of people, even though they have different opinions or perspectives on the matter of warming up, it very much so is very how do you call this? Very situational. Very situational because of course maybe the warm up routine that a what do you call this a teenager who's in the high school football team is compared to a warm up of a 25-year-old power lifter, like a really like champion power lifter, is going to be different from the warm up of a 50 or 60-year-old tita that I coach, right? So there is no exact or one size fits all warm up routine. There are just some parameters that a lot of people do have to consider. Some people warm up for 5 minutes and they're perfectly fine. Some people need 20 or 30 minutes to warm up. And a lot of people might be wondering, oh, that's kind of weird, right? And yes, it is weird. It is unconventional. It is not traditional. But it is something that a lot of people do need. So this is why this is not just a random videos episode where we can talk about it in 3 minutes. But this is something that can be talked about for quite a long time. So of course I don't want to cook myself here. Actually, this is the weird thing about Japan. The air is extremely cold. That's why I'm in pants and long sleeves. You'll never see me wear this in the Philippines. But the sun is really hot. So I can feel the cold breeze, but I also feel the heat from the sun. It's pretty crazy actually. So my left side's really cold, my right side's really burning right now. But all right, speaking of burning, let's talk about the warm up. Is that a good segue? But all right, so first, obviously, let's start off with the importance of warming up. Why do you need to actually warm up when you go do your workouts? Well, that's because when you go do a workout, there is some form of intensity. And of course, there are some workouts that are harder. There are some weeks, there are some days within the week that the workout's easier. Then there's some days that it's actually meant to be harder. Now, you can't expect, especially for the high intensity days, you can't expect to be on full performance mode or to be able to perform at your best, at your peak, if you're just going to like walk into the gym and then go hit your heavy set. You can't expect to do that. It's just unheard of. Or if ever you do attempt to do it, you're probably not going to do it well, right? You're probably going to get hurt. So that's exactly why the multiple reasons for doing a warm up is because you want to make sure that one, sorry, I'm pretty sure there's a kid behind me. I swear I picked the most isolated corner in the hope that I won't be able to disturb anyone or nobody will be here. But anyway, the importance of the workout is one. Like, I mean, sorry, the multiple reasons why warming up is super important is because number one, you want to make sure that you are going to be primed enough to perform your top sets or you're primed enough to do the heavy workouts. Because if you are just going to walk into the gym, you cannot expect to perform at your best. Like that's straight up that's absolute fact. You cannot perform at your best the moment you just walk into the gym. That's definitely true. And another reason why warming up is so super important is because you want to make sure that your joints are going to be healthy. I know a lot of people say, stretching doesn't. It's been proven that stretching doesn't really reduce the risk of it says joint injuries or whatever injuries in general. Yeah, that's what the research says. But I'm talking about warming up. Warming up is not the exact. Oh, there's a kid that hit my. Oh no! Daijibu, daijibu. So that's me pretending to know how to speak Japanese. That's the only word I know. Daijibu. That's really cute though. So hopefully I'm still in angle. Let me just adjust this a bit. All right, gotta keep it not. See, I'm not lying to you guys. I'm really in the park right now. So I was saying that yes, when it comes to warming up, when it comes to stretching, yes, it's not going to be like a foolproof way. Is that the phrase right now? To prevent you from getting hurt. But again, warming up is not the exact same thing as stretching. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of potential meanings when it comes to what a warm up actually stands for, right? So let's go at it step by step, pace by pace. Let's see what it actually means to do what we call, or what I will call right now for the sake of the video, the perfect warm up. One thing I want to say before I continue, there are a lot of things in this list of warm up layers that will apply best for some people. Some people can only take away like two of these. Some people need all of these layers to warm up to be able to perform at their best. Again, there's no such thing as a one size fits all warm up. There are so many things that you need to consider. Okay, I'm just making sure that hopefully the kid doesn't slide. Because again, as you can see, I'm in a slope. There's a kid that was sliding left and right. And then, of course, I guess this 2-year-old just really did it on purpose. She wanted to slide. So, of course, I'm kind of on edge right now. I swear. Of course, it's not a podcast studio or anything. So, I'm in public. It's not my own space. So, of course, if a kid wants to play next to me, I can't say don't, right? I mean, it's a public park. But anyway, we do what we have. Oh yeah, before I continue, also, if you guys have spotted it already, I'm wearing my Pikachu socks. It's Pikachu dress socks, right? If I'm standing up, you can't see the Pikachu, but at this angle, it's perfect for you guys to see. My wife got me these. Thanks, babe. All right. So the first thing when it comes to the warm up, I'll try to do this in a perfect sequence where I believe it would be ideal if somebody heads into the gym. First things first, you literally have to warm your body up. When I say warm it up, I mean literally your body's core temperature has to increase. It definitely has to. Because sometimes, if for a lot of people who work out in commercial gyms, if you guys are working in a branch that's aircon, is really, really cold, again, you're not going to perform at your best. That's just absolute fact already, all right? So you have to make sure that your body's core temperature does increase. How to do that? The simplest way is to either the simplest way is to walk. Now it's your choice if you want to do the treadmill, if you want to actually walk, or if the gym is big enough that it has some form of oval or whatever. But walking is what I would recommend to a lot of people. So treadmill or an actual walk inside or outside of the gym. A lot of people, I'm pretty sure, will be like, oh, what? That's so basic. Like, a lot of people look down on personal trainers that make their clients do like a 5 or 10 minute walk in the gym. And yes, actually, here's my opinion on him. if you are a personal trainer in a commercial gym, and of course you got 60 minutes with that client, with that member that you're currently training, if you make them spend the first 5 or 10 minutes of that 60-minute slot to actually just use the treadmill, you are a terrible trainer. I'm just gonna say, because you're just I mean, they're paying a top dollar to have you watch over their workouts for 60 minutes, and you're going to spend 1/6 of that time to just tell them to walk. That is absolutely terrible. What I did, so of course I'm gonna speak highly of myself or whatever, but what I did when I was coaching in a commercial gym, if they have 60 minutes with me, and it's example, if our session starts at 2 p.m., I tell them to arrive at the gym 1:40 or 1:45 so that they have enough time to prep, and so like dress up or whatever. And then when it's 1:50, I tell them to go for that 5 to 10 minute treadmill walk, because they're paying so much money to what, to just be told to walk for 10 minutes. That's absolutely terrible. So again, if you're a personal trainer in a commercial gym and you plan to make them walk for 5 to 10 minutes, make them come earlier, and don't make them spend those 5 or 10 minutes during the actual hour. It just, common, it's just, good, being considerate to their time, considerate to the effort that they're putting into the gym. I know you're putting efforts in as a trainer, you're putting efforts into their workouts, but of course they're putting efforts as well. So to form a good coach client relationship, that simple adjustment of them telling them to come earlier um, is going to be something that they're definitely going to appreciate. Right. All right, so that's just the first one, making them warm up. And of course, if you're in a gym that doesn't have a treadmill, or if there's no place to actually walk inside or outside the gym, what I'd recommend is something somewhat similar. It's not, of course, it's not similar, but it's a good substitute. First one would be to do light intensity work, like light interval work. So a lot of basics like jumping jacks, high knees, mountain climbers, anything that they can do like within their same, like their square meter area or whatever. Um, Anything to just get their heart pumping. If you don't want them to think so much, it's a jump rope would be a good option. But of course, not a lot of people have the skill to jump rope for a lot of for like 5 minutes, because 5 minutes jump rope, that's already quite tiring already. So again, the walking is really what I would prefer for most people to do. But if they don't have the means to do that, then of course some light intensity interval work. So of course, you know what, as HIIT, high intensity interval training, for this one, let's just call it light intensity training. I know a lot of people, there's a phrase also like low intensity steady state cardio, but that's the walking. If you don't have to do that, the LISS, then just try to do the light intensity interval training, lit. Okay, that's just from some new terms. I'm not sure if it's new, but something for you guys to consider. Now, after doing that light warm up, dynamic stretching. That's really going to be the next step. And no, I don't really prioritize, or I don't really recommend static stretching. That's the one that, if you're my age, you know this, back in grade school or high school or even college, a lot of the teachers at that time, I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying that I guess that was what was promoted back in the early 2000s, that the perfect warm up is to hold your neck for like 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then 8, 6, 5, 4, except, stuff like that. Hold your arm out like this, pull your quad, etc. I mean, that was what was taught to them before, so I'm not dissing those PE teachers or coaches back then. I mean, it can be helped. The information they had at that time was definitely limited, so that's what they promoted for everyone as well. So that's static stretching, where you're holding a stretch for X number of seconds. What the new way to do it? Well, it's not necessarily new, but the more recommended way to do your stretching would be dynamic stretching. So this is when instead of just holding it, you'd be moving each joint throughout its own range of motion. So for your neck, you can tilt it left to right. You can look left and right, look up and down. For your shoulders, instead of just holding it across your body like this, you can rotate it, swing it left and right, swing it up and down. Torso, all of those. Basically, when it comes to dynamic stretching, you'd really want to make sure that each joint goes through its full range of motion for how many number of reps. You don't have to be specific, but anything, if you were to ask me, like anything from like 10 to 30 reps per joint would be great. There are some joints that need more warming up than others, especially if you have an injury that you've had in the past. Of course, sometimes your shoulder might need your left side of the shoulder might need more of a warm up more than your right, something like that. So again, what we started on was with a light walk or like a low intensity warm up, and then the dynamic stretching, and then if you do have the energy still, which will then you can perform the hit, the high intensity interval training. Again, this is an option. This is an optional part, especially if you've already done the low intensity interval training. That's something that you don't really have to do already since you already did it a bit. When the difference between the low intensity and the high intensity is very straightforward, the intensity, because when it comes to low intensity, let's say jumping jacks, you can just go up, down, like very low pace, like slow pacing, just doing the movement. For high intensity, that's when it becomes a bit more intense, where you're a bit more explosive. You're really shifting your arms up and down, swinging your arms up and down with a bit more explosiveness, with a bit more speed. And even though if it's the exact same movement, you are going to warm up a bit more because of that added intention to your reps, right? So again, jumping jacks for 10 reps low intensity versus jumping jacks 10 reps of high intensity, you'll really feel the difference. And of course, your lungs, your joints, everything will feel a lot more primed. Now, this is the point where I would say majority of people can now proceed to their main work, whatever they're planning to do for the day. So example, if they were, I would say, let's say if squatting is the barbell squat is their first main movement of the day. At this point, that's when they can start warming up for like being the more, I guess, the specific warm-ups for the barbell squat. So let's say their main work is 100 kilos for 5 reps. What they can do is, do 10 reps with the bar, go to 40 or 60 kilos, and then do 5 reps, etc. Then that's their usual ramping up. You start with the empty bar, add some weight, incremental weights until you actually reach your top set or your main work, and then that's when you perform it. Like this is something that a bodybuilder, powerlifter, general fitness, no matter what goal you have, if your first if your first workout is going to be a heavy squat, that's traditionally how your warm-ups would look like. But what I have learned, or what I have been forced to learn as I've continued coaching more and more people with different backgrounds, and of course me, I am 28 right now. Just celebrated my birthday last week. What up? I'm 28 right now. I know, unfortunately, this is not me trying to like feel sorry for myself, but I'm just being straightforward. I can compare myself to a lot of people, and I'm being very objective about it. My joints are really shit. Like I'm very weak, unhealthy joints. Trying to do I do a lot of trying to get a lot of healthy work in, healthy joint work in, and I know a lot of people, a lot of my peers, who have relatively the same background as me, their joints aren't as injured or as fragile. So for me, what I've been forced to learn is that I do have to take my warm ups a bit more seriously. Or so on top of that, increasing your body temperature with low intensity work, on top of the dynamic stretching, on top of the optional, I guess, high intensity interval training, I have to do a bit more specific warm ups, especially if it comes to my upper body. Because if you guys know me, my shoulders and elbows, they're really weak. Again, I know I've mentioned this past to a lot of people already, but my shoulders are really terrible. My elbows are really, really terrible. Specifically, my left side, they really crack. Let's see if I can make you guys hear it right now. Hopefully, this microphone can pick it up. If not, but it's really cracking. I'm just holding it up like this, and it's cracking like crazy. Um, so because of that, especially if my main upper body movement is going to be something like a barbell bench press, dumbbell bench press, overhead press, military press, whatever it is, even a machine chest press, or even um, regular body weight push-ups, or even weighted push-ups, any pushing movement in general, I have to take like 5 to 50, depending on the day, because some days feel good, some days not so much. Depending on the day, it takes like 5 to 15 minutes to warm myself up to ensure, or to increase or decrease the likelihood of me hurting my joint or my elbow and my shoulder. during the actual workout. So after I do all of those other the initial layers of warming up, what I do is some general pump work slash mobility work. I'm going to kind of like join them together. So when I say pump work slash mobility work, I want you guys to target the actual muscles that you'll be using for that day, but you'll be doing primarily light or like not, how would I say, isolation movements. There we go. So for example, on the days that I have to do a heavy bench or a heavy push up, weighted push up, what I do, what I've learned to be very, very beneficial for me and my clients who have the same issue is that we really want to stretch out your pecs and your lats. So again, this is very specific now. What I do, which has helped tremendously, would be to do dumbbell, or let's just say fine, dumbbell pullovers and dumbbell pec flies. Those have been extremely helpful. And you might be wondering, wait, aren't those like, bodybuilding movements, isolation movements? And yes, traditionally they're known just to build the pecs, build the lats. And of course, yes, they when I do it, I'm sure it has some work, but I do it with light to moderate weight. And my primary intention is to stretch the muscles that I want to stretch. So when it comes to the pecs, the pec fly at the very bottom of the rep, I really look for my pec to stretch, my shoulders to stretch. When I do the at the bottom of the pullover, I look for my lats and of course some of my pecs to stretch as well. And that's just basically, I would say it's like combining weight training and yoga. It's the best way to make sure the joints that I need to perform for the day, it's the best way to make sure that they're able to actually perform for the day. All right. So of course, I didn't discover this on my own. I was able to watch a lot of videos and learn from different coaches. A very popular one that I think this is the first where I heard it from would be Ben Patrick, Coach Ben Patrick. Amazing, amazing guy. I mean, of course, a lot of people disagree with him, but there's a lot of stuff that he does say that does make a lot of sense, and some of those stuff that I was able to apply for myself, I've applied to my clients as well. And honestly, it's really what we needed. Our joints have never felt that this much healthier, that much stronger. And obviously, if you have healthier joints, you're probably gonna have a stronger body. You can't have a strong body with weak shit joints because that's what's going to, tear you apart down the line. So I'm really happy that I was able to discover a lot of his work. It was able to make my workouts a lot healthier and my clients' workouts a lot healthier. So again, that's pump work slash mobility work. Of course, if it's a different thing for your lower body, but I guess that's just the next layer. So again, first one is going to be a light warm up, light intensity work, and then that next would be the dynamic stretching, and then the high intensity interval training work, and then this pump slash mobility work. After that, that's when on most days, actually, that's when almost everyone already should be ready to perform for their main set. All right, that's something that's extremely really important. Also, you know what? Let me just give you an example for a lower body pump mobility work. So if you guys are not familiar, there are a lot of different variations for the split squat. Is there somebody behind me? Well, whatever. There are a lot of different variations of the split squat. A new one would be the ass to grass split squat, or the ATG split squat, again by Ben Patrick. That variation, it's hard for me to describe it to you guys right now. I mean, I can demonstrate it, but I'm in slacks and leather shoes, so I can't really demonstrate it. um, I make that movement. I make my clients who have hip issues do that movement prior to doing their main lunges, because I've tried it, I've seen it in the past. If they don't do this movement, this pump mobility work, they're not able to do their lunges properly. That's just straight up what's going to be happen. If they don't do this work, this mobility slash pump work, they're not going to perform well. So that's for an example for the lower body work. All right, that's something that is really, really helpful. You guys will definitely have to benefit from it. That's and again, after all the pump mobility work, almost everyone should be able to do everything, their main work already. The last thing, this is the one that only like a 1% of people, or like a barely anybody needs to do it, would be more of like, I guess, plyo work. Jumping up and down, like on a box, lunging to a box, lunging from a box, or doing clap push ups, medicine ball throws. This is for when you're. I believe that the only times that you'd need to do this warm up would be if you really have to be fast. Just that. There's no other reason why. I mean, there. I mean, sure, people might say, "Oh, it's great for high intensity work." Example, if you're lifting 90% plus of your work, but I think if you do that, if you're going to like max out for a bench, max out for a squat, you're gonna do some plyo work. Um, I feel like you're gonna be too tired already. The list of the warm ups already kind of long. So if you were to do a lot of plyo work before you do your intense work, I feel like the actual output would be lessened. So this is why I don't really recommend it to a lot of people. So the only time that I'd recommend plyo work is when you're actually going to when you need to be fast. Not necessarily not all the time when you have to be strong, but when you have to be fast. Because plyo, what do you have to do? You can't jump on the box slowly, right? You have to jump on the box fast because if you try to move slowly, that's not going to be an impressive jump, right? So I'm not sure if I'm actually sliding already. But anyway, and I would say that's primarily it. And of course, there's a lot of ways that we can go treat your warm ups. And I think I have to end this episode soon because I have to meet my wife. I'm dressed kind of nice, I believe, because we're going to a museum or something, a fancy building. And I want to look the part and not just wear my usual gym shorts. But all right, so again, I want to recap it for you guys. This is something that I really, really want a lot of people to absorb. A lot of people might not agree with a lengthy warm up. And I believe that the type of people that don't agree with this are the people that aren't on the that are the people that aren't in the point of their lives where they see the need for it. When I was actually not that long ago, let's say like what, 3 or 4 years ago, that's not long ago, I didn't believe in lengthy warm ups because at that time, my performance was not hindered. My joints didn't hurt as much. So yeah, but when it came to the point that everything was hurting and performance was going down, that's when I realized, oh shoot, I do need to take my warm ups a lot more seriously. And ever since then, I can never go back the other way. I can never go back to my usual or my previous way of not taking the warm up seriously. So I'm not saying that other people that disagree with this are stupid. I don't know. I'm not. My vocabulary is not strong. It's not very good right now. But I'm just saying that to people who don't agree with these type of warm up methods are people that just don't need it right now. And to that, I say good job. I'm very envious for you because, of course, if I can get in and out of the gym in like what 45 minutes or an hour, I'd love that. But because of the warm up now, I have to stay a bit over an hour when it comes to the gym. Of course, some people want to spend more time in the gym. I'm in the point of my life where I just want to get the workout done, because of course I have a lot of other responsibilities to look out for. Um, so yeah, if you don't feel the need to do these warm ups right now, all right, sure, great for you. But I feel like it would be the smarter way to try it out just a bit because of course we don't want you to only do these warm ups when you feel the need for it. Maybe if you do these type of warm ups now, you're never going to need more of it. You know what I'm saying? I think I heard this from Matt Wenning. If you guys are familiar with him, he's a very renowned coach, powerlifter, inventor, I guess. Um, he said that I think he said it this way that if you train like you're 40 now, you'll never have to train like you're actually 40. Something like that. I think that's how basically what he means is that if you're in your teens, if you're in your 20s and you really take care of your body, you're never going to and if you take care of your body like how a 40-year-old takes care of his body, then you're never going to feel like an actual 40-year-old. Hopefully I was able to get that point across. But again, let me try to give a quick recap of everything once again. Have means to warm up, low intensity. My preference is going to be just a walk. After that, do your full body dynamic stretching. Next up, I would want you guys to do more high intensity interval training work. Very very short. Again, when I say this, it's like what gonna last you like what 2 to 3 or 4 minutes max, just to really get your heart pumping once again. Then a lot of people after this point they can start doing their main work already, warming up specifically for their main work. If not, if you have some joint issues that you'd want to um, take care of, that's when you can do the pump slash mobility work. which is something that has been an extreme game changer for me and my clients. And the last one, the one that's not gonna apply for everyone, but go ahead, give it a shot, would be to add some plyo work. Again, light plyo work, nonetheless, plyo work to shock your body if you want to be a bit faster. And then that's when you can do the more specific warm ups for your main work. So, example, if it's a barbell squat, you can start with a body weight squat and then do the barbell, empty barbell, add 10 kilos, 20 kilos, whatsoever until you reach your main work for the day. But all right, so that episode took a lot longer than expected. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I believe, if I'm not mistaken with my schedule, this will be the last episode that will be filmed here in Japan. Next week, you'll see me back in the Philippines, unfortunately. All right, see you guys then.